to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Thanks, everybody. Okay, first thing is approval of the agenda, additions, corrections to agenda. If not, somebody make a motion to approve.
So move.
Someone second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Motion carried. Approval of the minutes from last month. Additions, corrections. If not, somebody make a motion to approve them.
So move.
Someone a second. I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Approval of the bills. All checks for 18,153 to 18,183 and some electronic transfers there. Probably about 10 of them, it looks. Any questions on that? If not, somebody make a motion to approve.
The motion.
Someone second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Okay, man, we're moving right along. We're down here to Bolton Mink and Joe.
You want to do a community comment in between there?
Can we do it now or
I don't care. I was just there on the, whatever you want to do.
did I got the? Yeah, we can do community comment. Anybody with anything as far as community comment? No, all right, move on to Joe, Bolton Mink. Phosphorus pump.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. Here tonight to talk about the 2024 phosphorus removal improvements, we're calling it. As we talked about in the past, the MPCA has set a phosphorus threshold that the city is allowed to discharge into the Maple River. It's in kilograms per year is how they measure that. So when Brian Severance takes the samples at the pump, they can determine how much phosphorus to discharge. And the city was over their phosphorus discharge limit for the first time, I believe at least 5 years. This past year, they were about 20 kilograms over their limits, like 224, and we were about 264, 270. So we put together a plan to reduce the phosphorus limits using treating it with a chemical, ferric chloride, is the chemical that we're looking at using out there. So what we did is we put together a bid package that would include a 1,000 gallon storage tank, and a pump and a small shelf out there to inject chemical into the transfer station that's out at the ponds now. So we received 3 quotes from different contractors in the area that do this type of work. Rubin Construction, and this was a direct solicitation project. We actually reached out to 4 contractors. One of them we did not hear back from. These are the 3 we heard back from. Rubin Construction, they're out of Tyler, Minnesota, is the apparent low bidder in this project. We received a quote from Webb Construction out of Mankato, and then KHC Construction is out of Marshall. So Rubin Construction's low bid was $73,900. One thing that's important to note with these bid amounts is they include a $10,000 general construction allowance or contingency. We'll do this on environmental lump sum projects, and what that is if there's something that comes up unexpected in the project, especially a project of this nature where we did conduct a topo survey. We really didn't necessarily have a final design. We had a conceptual layout for the contractor to bid off of. So that amount includes a $10,000 general construction allowance that would account for unforeseen things that come up during construction. If the project goes 100% as planned, $10,000 would be deducted from that dollar amount that you see there. So Rubin was at $73,900, Webb Construction was at $80,420, and KHC Construction was at $97,000. Our engineer's estimate was $53,800. Originally we estimated at $43,800, but with the $10,000 general construction allowance, it's at $53,800. So it is higher than engineer's estimate. Those are tricky to do on projects of small quantities like this. It's just a little bit touchier for contractors to know exactly how they're gonna bid that and how much profit inevitably they're looking to make on the project. So we did put together a letter, I think Sue included in the packet. Although there's a statement in the letter, although higher than estimated, we do not believe rebidding would provide substantially lower numbers. You know, there's always a chance for a little wiggle room one way or another. But we don't believe it would provide substantially lower. Sort of interesting too, I talked to Rubin Construction and Webb about what if we delayed the completion date to the summer of 2025. Thinking in my mind, that may lead to better numbers. They said you could assume about a 5% increase in these numbers. So I thought that was kind of interesting that it's not the brief timeline that's necessarily driving up the numbers for them. So delay, having a larger window to complete the work based on those two contractors' response wasn't going to reduce those prices. So with that said, we're recommending, if it's deemed financially feasible, recommending awarding the project to Rubin Construction, their low bid amount.
I think Brian said we're already over this year with having discharge on the ponds were.
How fast do you think this could all happen? Because Brian was hoping that could it be operational by the time it's got to do his fall discharge?
Yep, so we put in the contract, the completion date is September 15th, which is the opening date of the fall discharge.
Okay.
Be interested to raise that comment. I wouldn't assume we're over yet, but maybe trending towards over is maybe what Brian's seeing.
I can't remember. I know he said we're probably for sure gonna be over on fecal coliform, but, and he mentioned something about the phosphorus, I just can't remember.
Okay,
It's
sure.
either like, it's either we're over or we're close or we will be.
Okay,
Yeah, I can't remember. I saw it. I was in Colorado that weekend when we got all the rain and I saw, maybe it was something Sioux forwarded. But it was an astronomical amount of water that.
Oh, it was just 1.5 million gallons a day in
Yeah.
24 hour period.
yeah,
1.5 million.
Yep.
We're obviously hooked up somehow to a field
yeah,
drainage system.
yeah,
And that's where our phosphorus is coming from too.
yeah,
The majority of it, you know.
right.
Could you put aluminum sulfate in the pond?
Yeah, it would provide a very similar solution, ferric chloride and aluminum sulfate.
It's cheap.
Yeah, they kind of do two different things. Ferric chloride is a little more effective in getting the phosphorus to flocculate and drop out. So you need less of the material to get it to flocculate there. And really, what this project was designing a system to get that chemical into the pond safely, so they don't have to use a boat or something else to apply the chemical. That's really the purpose of this project.
And it's more of a permanent thing than just fly by
Yeah.
night, fly by your shorts.
Yeah, Yeah.
I've done that myself. I don't want to do that or put anyone else through that.
you've been out on the boat. Yeah,
Not in these ponds, but
yeah,
It would be a continuous thing, probably almost every,
I think every year pretty much you can count on until we find out where we're getting all this water from,
yep.
you know?
I mean, I was down there when we were getting all that water. It looks like it coming out of the tap.
yeah, clear.
You know, it's just clean. And then you have to pump it into the lagoon and then you have to ask for permission to discharge it back in the river. Wow, it's quite the circle you gotta do.
Yeah. Actually, it was, and we got all this rain, the city of Good Thunder was held up better than some of our surrounding communities
Yeah.
that were working
Yeah.
in that, their
Yeah.
wastewater plants became so inundated, the pumps failed to keep up with the water, and there are a few local communities that were direct discharging into
The streets.
rivers, for several days, actually, or almost up to a week, so
Oh,
don't beat yourselves up too much. It was a unique circumstance how we were getting, I think that
well, yeah, no,
DOT is calling it a 240-year rain event was that 8-incher.
I thought it was a 500-year.
Yeah, there are a few numbers
Yeah.
floating around. I'm not sure it's been officially designated. The one we've heard the most often is 240.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
yeah.
We're very fortunate we had our generator down there
Oh, man, no kidding.
for our outage, I mean, we're pretty well prepared,
Yeah.
We can pump our water, we can take our discharge water. And with no electricity in the city and we carried on very well.
Yeah, no catastrophic failures,
Yeah.
right? I mean.
Yeah, it paid for itself that night, as far as I'm
Yes, it
concerned.
did. Yep.
Day and night.
Both of them.
Yeah,
Both
yeah,
places.
both places. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the thought here, again, take way back, we've talked about this once or twice, but you can expect about a 50% reduction if you treat the discharge. So, if I think a lot of times when Brian's discharging, it's maybe like 80 kilograms of phosphorus, because if you do it about 4 times, so 80, 160, 240, 320, that's how you start to exceed it. So it's about a 50% reduction. So you can kind of start to play games with how many times am I gonna have to use the chemical to slash these this one in half. So I guess where I'm going with that is unlikely you'll treat every single discharge.
Right.
Maybe one in the spring, one in the fall.
You treat the secondary, right? When it's going into the secondary?
Yes, it'll be at the transfer station when the
Yeah.
water's being pumped from the primary to the secondary. It'll go right into that big precast structure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to get this moving, then we need to probably make a motion to approve this.
Yeah, to award that contract to Rubin Construction.
And then, so they'll be able to get going fairly quickly, it sounds.
Yeah, I haven't reached out to them. They're always curious, will the city award the contract? So I'll have a phone call with, his name is Dave Rubin tomorrow. But he had no concerns about completing it by September 15th.
And all we need is just a motion. We don't need a resolution tonight. Correct. I'll make a motion that we proceed with the project and award that contract.
Made it. John seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be in touch with the council and let you know when we have a schedule and, slightly off topic, we had the pre-construction meeting for the Halliday Street project. Is that last week, Grace, or 2 weeks ago? Can't remember for sure.
Wasn't it?
Weeks.
2 weeks ago, longer.
2 weeks ago. Yep, and with the rain, Chambers has delayed the start of the project till the beginning of August here. So,
Makes sense.
yeah, they did have a schedule there and they got their manholes made and they're ready to get in here, just finishing up some other obligations they have going on, so. Stay in contact there. The first thing, when we'll have a detour go, or not a full detour, but some road closures go up when they make that connection out in Front Street or Cassatt 55 there, but we'll do some door hangers for the residents along there. It should be a very short amount of time when that roadway is closed. We gave them 2 days to close the roadway to get that.
And they do all that coordination with the city then, or with the county?
Yeah, Blue Earth County knows it's coming. Fortunately, we did all that coordination before the dam and all the crazy issues they've been dealing with and they're had less things on their plate, but we have an executed permit with Blue Earth County. We just gotta let them, just due diligence, let them know when.
You had flow meters in, up all over town, kinda.
Yeah.
And when it was raining heavily there, probably 3 weeks ago, Race was pulling some manholes,
Mhm.
still in that northwest corner.
West Quad, yeah.
So I don't know, is this possible at all that if we know on Wednesday, there's 100% chance of rain, say an inch or two amount, some Wednesday or Thursday, whatever. Could we ever line up somebody with a camera to go up that and see which direction that large inflow, it's gotta fill the pipe.
Yeah, absolutely. Race and I have been corresponding about that because there's the two lines that we're very much suspect of right now. They run north and south grassy areas. Between Main Street and Chauvin, thanks, Race. Yeah. Because Race has identified that those things are running 2/3 or half full of water when there's really only probably 4 or 5 houses on them. So it should be an inch of water or less in there. So yeah, and you don't necessarily have to have it. The camera happens simultaneously when it's raining, even if you got it, the next day when some of that drawdown is happening. Because there's a couple things you'd be able to see where the water's coming from, and then also it's a simple math exercise. Okay, there should be 4 services. We televise the pipe. Why are there six Ys or 6 services coming into this pipe?
It's gotta be huge.
Well, it's gotta now be a lot bigger pipe than a normal house.
Well, I wouldn't even say that necessarily though,
Really?
no, 'cause I mean, you think about what it would take to fill up the 8-inch pipe. I mean, it's an 8-inch or 6-inch tile from a field to fill that pipe. We've safely eliminated, it's not a catch basin connected to the sanitary sewer. I think we've ruled that out through smoke testing and a lot of those things, but it could still be an egg tile.
Like Tom said, meeting or two ago, I guess it was, that could be a good chance of where some of our phosphorus is coming from, that
Yeah,
ag field.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it could be,
Didn't you say that
killing
one
two
on
birds with one stone.
Yeah, the
Sherman
one on the
Street's
end of-
flowing too?
The one at the end of Sherman Street, there's a tile line that comes from the west, and the only 2 things that should be on that are the county building and that last house on the right. And maybe I don't know if that Protein Sources building has.
There's water and sewer in there.
So that you have 3.
But there's hardly anybody ever in that building.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, it's,
One of that.
you know, there isn't 500 gallons a week go through that place or a month.
And the manhole by Scott's house, I looked at that 5 or 6 days after it was done raining, when there was still that lake out in that field.
Yeah.
That was,
Still running?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So has there been any conversations with the farmer? Does he know where that field is supposed to drain to or be tiled to?
There was one individual that knew most of it, Bud Barnard, but he is no longer with us.
Understood.
He had a lot of tile maps. I mean, a lot of tile maps.
Yeah,
And so far his son Grant hasn't been able to locate them.
okay.
And that would be very helpful.
Mhm.
There's for sure there's that storm sewer manhole at the end there that I pulled that and it was.
Yeah, I know that
really
on Sherman
important.
Street,
Yeah,
I
it's
saw
really
one.
important to that.
I know that far west manhole on Casa one, there's like 6 tiles. hooked
Yeah,
up to that thing that they found during
blasting in there.
construction and it's running full. So that's storm sewer, so that's good.
Yeah,
But it still does feel like there's something coming from the west into those.
There's gotta be.
Yeah, I mean, when we did the flow meters, we identified that was half of the INI, right? It was like 51% or something like that from that northwest corner.
How deep is normally a field tile? Do you have any idea? About 15 feet, 9 feet?
Well, no, I mean, it could be as shallow as 4 feet deep, but
Yeah.
it depends if they gotta get through if they gotta get through a big hill in the field and they need gravity to keep it going, if something like that, they might be 10 feet deep.
So out there, probably 4 or 5 feet would probably be it, because that's
Yeah,
relatively level.
It
Yeah.
depends how deep the main is.
right, that would be the challenge, is if we find it,
this is.
we would probably have to try and get
One
it
on
going
Sherman Street.
south to Casa one and hook it up to the storm sewer.
That's you only have.
You know, we can't just go in. the
And
middle
look at
of
it, just all of a
As
sudden.
much as we'd like to, we can't just go in the middle of
Yeah,
the
that's
night,
where
cut off
you have
that,
your building.
drainage and
Right,
not do
right.
anything about it. There are drainage laws that protect that sort of thing. But we'd certainly be motivated to get that thing rerouted. So
County,
it's
there's
not
that
intensive
house there,
sanitary.
that's.
Right. Right.
So do you think at the end of the street and then over by Scott's, we have 2 big intakes in, right?
This is.
Yeah, I would start with those. The 2 that we don't have televising for are those 2.
You're talking right down
backyard
here?
sanitary sewer lines that run north and south between.
Is that
Calhoun
after-
And Main Street.
Oh.
Between the.
That was that big.
I would televise both of those.
But there's only
Yeah.
lines on that, and this is at
It'd be nice to get it.
5 o'clock
to your
PM,
point, Robert.
so county's not there,
But
Right.
I wouldn't say it's required.
and they barely use any.
Know how many sanitary.
They're never.
Because that's right on the very west edge of the properties there, right?
Yeah, can you show them the line we're talking about, race that north-south line?
Right there, the middle.
Oh, right here? Or this,
Middle block right there.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's the one, yeah.
It's right there.
the
huh?
lake was like right here.
Mhm.
And does that sewer, it hooks up and it goes north and then that?
Yeah, it kicks this way, then, yeah,
Okay.
and then yours here, and it really picks up. You have a bunch that comes down here too, it really picks up coming out there.
So in other
Keep
words,
checking both of those grassy backyard ones.
you have 6 people hooked up to that.
That's right, right.
Yeah.
Should be really no flow during the day, and some flow at 7 AM and 5 PM.
And you could almost measure it off per foot when you start at the manhole and kind of guess where it comes out of the house and this is so
Yeah.
and so's and this is so and so's.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, yep.
you know,
That's exactly right.
On Sherman Street.
But then, once we get this
that man,
project
right in
on
the
South
street.
Holiday, once
That's
that's,
5 PM, so the county's gone, the protein sources building.
we should see if that's gonna, if that's correcting some of it though, right?
Yes.
I mean, we're either gonna have.
Going way up here, there's one in the side of the road up there.
Yeah, that's the storm. sewer.
Hopefully there'll be
That one was
some
pouring.
decrease.
Yes, yeah.
I pulled that, I remember seeing that when I was mowing it.
Not like it's a smoking gun or we're just
Right.
gonna drop it by 90%, but you hope every improvement.
years ago,
And it has,
you
it's
could
fine.
see
These linings and these projects, it has helped.
where that's always wet out there on the west in that field. There used to be a stake out there with it, but now it's gone, so.
So who owns that field there, or are there 2 fields?
So Scott, it isn't marked in there either, is it?
No,
So how about the sewer's got to run up the cul-de-sac? That's not marked either.
nothing comes out of
It
that.
does go up that cul-de-sac.
Yeah, so see, these people have made this map because that's all served in the street, right?
I pulled that manhole there, there's hardly anything that comes out of that one,
Right there.
yeah.
So where's these people's sewers going?
Well, that's where it goes to.
It goes that
Runs
way.
down, but there's no,
I.
no, it's not, doesn't seem like it's rushing in the same way it does.
That's newer PVC, I think, in that cul-de-sac.
If you pull that manhole when it's raining, that one actually gets backed up by the other one farther to the west, rushing around. There's more water coming out of that.
So if we have that televised and we find more than 6 inlets, We'd have to, you said we'd have to find that source
Yeah, we.
disconnected, but that, does that mean we have to dig through that right away and hook that up to a storm sewer at our cost?
I would have to confirm that with Jeff. I don't know the answer off the top of my head to that, Robert. We'd want to get it disconnected at whose cost and what rights we have. I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head, but I'll look into it.
Would that have to be our expense? To
I don't
drain that ag field?
Yeah,
I always knew you just can't stop a drain.
there are drainage.
But you
ponds
could,
that-
you could locate it in the field and run it,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know,
It would be relatively cheap. to
easy
do that.
fix, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Cheaper than in town.
yeah.
Yeah,
How come they were able to drain it into town at one point?
see, that was put in probably what, 40, 50 years ago?
Yeah,
And nobody was probably watching, oh, there's a pipe, hooked it in.
that's exactly.
That was
it.
pretty convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same concept with foundation drains around a home. There was nothing illegal about hooking a foundation drain into the sanitary sewer. It was the low pipe. It all made a lot of sense, right? And until people started thinking about the bigger picture a little bit more,
Mhm.
and the problems it might create, that's when.
Well, that was way before all the ponds and stuff in every town.
Yeah,
That's way before them.
yeah,
Yeah, true. So
is
it's
the
okay.
guy in Janesville pretty good at televising?
Yeah, he can, when we located that one in the alley, he just basically, he'd run it up there. And then once he find a pipe, we would just walk up and spray paint that. We'd walk back, run the pipe a little bit more.
Yeah.
He can locate where the,
how is the camera footage trace? Okay,
pretty good.
sometimes it's nice when they have a vehicle and they can turn the camera a little bit so you can actually kind of
Yeah,
see
you
the
can.
pipe and see the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah,
Cause I've seen them where if it's just a push camera, it can get submerged in the water and it can be really challenging to, kind of doing this with your head.
Yeah, that's, the thing. If there's water, you can't really,
Yeah,
you get to a point where you can't see anything.
yeah, that's where I know like Empire Pipe Services. I'm not sure if they cost the same or if they're more expensive, but they kind of drive a remote control
Yeah.
car and so the footage is more clear and easy to review.
so we would give Race the permission now to get this done as soon as possible? Seek these out?
We don't need to make a motion.
I think so, yeah. Don't think so?
No,
No? Okay.
I would encourage you to do both of those races.
So run it up, yeah, okay.
Mhm.
And make sure it gets good markings or detailed markings, you know? Because there's gotta be something up there, I mean.
Yeah,
And then at the same time, would you check out the Sherman Street one also?
Just talking about videoing or trying to get some video.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, to see, I mean, we can build this building and we can treat it. But we're gonna have the same problem if we can't stop it.
Right.
right.
So let's try to keep stopping. I mean, we've made many attempts with all of our lining and replacing and that.
And at the last week's meeting, I won't speak directly for him, but when Brian was here, he has noted that the overall I has gone down based on historic
yeah,
data of what he's seen. He did make that statement, so that your efforts aren't,
they're not wasted. It's just we haven't hit the silver
you gotta
bullet.
keep chipping away. Yeah, you haven't had smoking gun, but you're chipping away at it though.
How about the one across the ballpark?
There's a little bit. I'm sure there's something coming from somewhere, but it wasn't anything.
Nothing big?
No, I went down to the one in the far southeast corner and there was,
Did you ever find the one along the road?
no, but I did find a map that said it was on the other side. I was looking on the wrong side of the road.
On the south side of the road.
No, it's on the north side, apparently.
Really?
I looked around on the south side. I looked there for half.
It was covered years ago and
There wasn't a ton, so down on Hiller Drive.
Hiller Drive, yeah.
Not a ton of I.
No, it wasn't.
Hmm.
I mean, there was some, there's clear water flowing through it, but it wasn't like. The biggest area that I found that we have an issue on is where we're doing that project. There's something coming in from the north. That manhole completely floods out. I mean, the amount of water, I think I sent the video to Tom, the amount of water flowing in from that field is
From where?
that hayfield.
Oh, you're talking about the project we're gonna do.
Yeah, the project we're about to.
South Allen or North Allenay?
Yeah, the amount of water flowing in there is just, and you see the force of it coming out even when the manhole's full.
I still think we have a problem on the north side of the Catholic Church where the road keeps
That could
collapsing.
be. Yeah,
Yeah,
Because we've done that multiple times and now I see on, well, where Larry Lentz lived, there's a dip in the road there a
Yeah.
little bit now. So there's still something undermining that road, and where is it going?
Yeah, that one is odd to me because we had televising for that, there's sanitary sewer televising, I reviewed it, and there's nothing that would show a sinkhole, it's actually PVC pipes, there's nothing that would.
You would think down at that one manhole that we're gonna replace would be full of dirt and gravel,
Yeah.
you know,
All the
but
time,
This is north,
yeah,
this is up into Steep Pond.
yeah, that's an odd one, there's no storm sewer on this.
That's
where that new dip is on the south.
We have a lot of flow coming down.
Region, so you can actually see.
And it all runs down that line.
That's
But
a lot of water.
there's something that just pours out from the, I can't figure out.
Twice north?
This way, this is towards Steep Pond.
How would you?
Okay, okay, all right.
You get that, you could almost, if you know, you could almost.
That's north, that's his.
That's behind Sarah's house.
Yeah, that's Pond Grass's field, right here.
Yeah.
So something just,
You know, yeah, now.
down there.
No, it's a big one.
Yeah.
Good thing, you know,
It's cold
I'll
out.
have an idea once we
Snows.
North Halliday done.
Yep.
No.
I still think all of those houses have footing canals, kind of drain into out the back of those houses.
You can, if
So-
you get down there in time, you can hear like if it rains really heavy and the pipe isn't already full, you can hear the water rushing down the pipe.
You hear it coming. Yeah.
So if they have perimeter tiles now, we made every good effort to make sure our pipe is solid. Are we gonna require them to put a sump pump down and do it above ground?
Yeah, I mean, that would be up to the city if they wanted to enforce that. I know I've reviewed the ordinance a couple times and I always have to think back or reread that if an interior or exterior is considered out of ordinance, but nonetheless, the ordinance should be revised such that interior or exterior footing tile connection is out of compliance. And then the property owner should have to put in put in an exterior sump basket. The trick is, is it a citywide mass mandate or how do you start enforcing that? And I know I've seen cities do it successfully when a house is sold, they have to do it. Have it inspected and do it then. That's the most common way. It's ordering a construction.
No, let's find the problem and then we'll just worry about all that trouble later.
Yeah.
You know, I
What
mean,
would happen when they're replacing that pipe if you had somebody on board that could go up there with a camera? And see if they have perimeter tile? You could tell them if it's on the inside of their house or the
Yeah.
outside of their house,
Yeah. Mhm.
right?
I don't know. And
I would. think
Yeah,
By the
well-
footage.
Yeah, under normal circumstances, you could, those are really long stretches, those houses.
Yeah, they are.
Back there, so sometimes it can be a challenge to get the camera all the way up there, but we can try that during construction here. And see
I mean,
if it's-
yeah, but you know, you could tell that person that it's on the outside of your house
Yeah,
or, you know, and I mean, someday the pollution control will just mandate that can't be any, or is that already in effect?
no, it's not, it's up to the cities, yeah, how they want it. Sometimes it's enforced with a, $100 fine on each monthly or quarterly bill. If you're out of compliance to try and get people to buy into it a little bit there. But it is a burden for property owners, you can see why it'd be a challenge, right? If it's a few $1,000s to get somebody in there and dig some basket, might be some electrical involved and
definitely,
that
it'd
type
be
of stuff.
fun.
Yeah,
I mean, I think we'd even have to finance it if they even paid it, you know,
yeah.
they could pay it back and
We can't let all of our work go in vain either by doing it. All we did is put a new pipe in to make it run quicker.
Well, I'm kind of glad to hear you say that, Mr. Mayor, because that is important to remember when you're doing just the mains, that a lot of the cyanide does generally come from the service pipes up in the home, and if there's a footing tile. Even if there's not a footing tile, it's still, if the services, it depends how long the services are, but if services are very long, chances are they're contributing as well.
One thing, if you'd video it, when you're doing it, you could tell that property owner what kind of shape their pipe is in, because they could be having problems in the road, down the road in 6 months or a year or 3 years or whatever.
Yeah, it's good information to have.
It'd be good information, whether you can use it or not.
Yeah,
All right.
as long as we're talking about I, Ray showed me a video of our pump structure while it was raining, and it was just absolutely pouring into our pump structure.
Yep.
I mean, we probably gained 50,000 gallon or more just from that,
The water flowing out of the field. Actually, that's in that one too.
no,
just pouring into it.
Need to
Really
be
crack.
remortared, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, or however they would do it, but we need to get that done too.
Yeah.
Because for that incident, added to our problem.
Yes, it does.
About
Pump
that.
structure at the treatment facility or something?
Yeah, right before the actual pumps, there's that low structure.
Yeah,
It was just, when the field went, when it was raining hard enough that the water was streaming out of the field. It pooled up around that and literally just poured between the,
oh, like the lift station out the
Yeah.
front we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry,
yeah, we should
yeah.
for sure get that casting raised up or,
Just put it on the list, we gotta
Yeah.
get that done too.
yeah.
Do
Somebody
they
here.
dig down around the outside and just remotor it, or do
I
they
haven't
lift
seen a
it?
video of
Have
it
to
where
see
that
it
water's
once.
coming in from. They can line structures too, although that can
Yeah.
sometimes be expensive, but I'm not exactly sure.
right from the two-lane video.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's impressive, isn't it?
So when it was, when it was coming up, you could see.
There's a ton of water going
They're
in.
ponding water around the
Yeah,
structure.
Yeah.
there's, you can kind of see right up here, there's a river.
Didn't bother last year, Tom.
Well, they said it's
It
two
was
hundred
good
and eighty
last
a year.
It was good last year, didn't
Great.
bother a bit.
That's because it's a 280.
It seems like you could pour like a heavy duty concrete collar around there or something.
Something.
That's drastic. I mean, that's a lot.
I don't know how much, I don't know how often you get to the point where the fields are so saturated that it's just running
It
like.
shouldn't take water like that though.
No, I'm-
Gasket.
No, I had.
No, not, it's shouldn't coming through there, but all that's coming, it's all washing out of the field.
Yeah,
It needs to be fixed, but I don't know how often that.
What is your recommendation? Do they do it on the inside or do they dig down around the outside and read?
yeah, usually they see it on the inside. They would line the entire structure on the inside. Being that's out in a grassy area and it really wouldn't be that difficult to dig around, expose the outside, potentially. The contractor would look into that. I'd have to get a contract, I'll work with Race to look at that video and get a kind of a contractor's opinion on what they think the best fix would be on something.
Because at least if it's on the outside, it's pushing, where if you
Yeah.
line it, then you got all that outside pushing
Yeah.
against your liner.
Yeah, you can see why lining usually is popular if it's in a roadway, right? It's how you're supposed to expose outside the manhole, but in a situation like this. I'm almost questioning if the precast structure itself needs to be removed and replaced. So, one of those, it seems like it's not sealing up tight.
Yeah,
There's those barrels.
Something radically wrong.
Yeah, yeah,
So every big rain we've had, when the ground's wet, that's been going on. We didn't realize it.
yeah. Yeah, you could put some of that big, they call it kind of gorilla tape. It's like 1 foot wide tape on the
Yeah.
outside and pour a big concrete collar and backfill around it. That's kind of where my originally goal was to try and solve it, but I want to get a contractor's take on it.
Alrighty,
Thanks, Race.
Do you think Empire would they take their camera down that one main to the west with there being no?
I think they would if you told them the circumstances and it's not that long of a run. But if they won't, then they'll tell you that they won't and we'd have to find someone else, but.
Were they coming for the Chambers project too?
No, well, potentially, I shouldn't say no so quickly. Their contractors required to post construction televise.
Okay,
So televise
Maybe
after they
that's
install it, just to make sure there aren't any defects in the pipe, but.
because they haven't been able to look up that hayfield because of all the turns and stuff. And once we have that all
Yeah, then we'll-
redone, then they'll have a cleaner shot. So we'll be able to see a little bit more of that.
I would encourage you to reach out to Empire right away, Race, and just kind of feel them out on timeline and what they'd be willing to do.
On the mark.
all right. Anything else for Joe?
After
Joe, you got anything else?
inch of rain.
I don't have anything.
Anybody else?
It gets.
If not, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, sheriff's report, we had 67 hours, paper service, welfare check, disturbance, animal complaint, parking violations, criminal damage, direct patrol. Any questions on that? If not, we can move on to fire department and 10 calls for lift assist, 4 medical, 1 vehicle fire and 1 structure fire. Any questions on that? Now we can move on to race, flood damage.
So, as far as other community, Joe kind of said, I mean, we really didn't lose much with us being on the hill. When the river flooded the road or the brush pile, all that stuff, the base of the road is still there, but pretty much wherever the river was, the road is now underneath the ditch. So they can't shed any water off anymore. She'll have to add a fair amount of rock to that. Eric Weller contacted Sue about the county. I think the county is reaching out for. They're trying to get damage estimates. To get any communities that have flood damage. I'm estimating right now would be somewhere between 6 and 8 loads of class 5 on that to get it back up. All the material that ended up down at the brush pile, it was all mixed in with silt and wasn't really usable as a road base anymore.
Do we need to maybe get Peterson in there and take and reshape that so the water does get off the road? Because yeah, there's areas where it's this high.
Yeah,
Just have them come in, grade it, stir up what we got and then see what we need.
yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be a bad idea either.
How muddy is it down there yet? Is it still really muddy or the road?
You can get all the way down there. It's bumpy. There are a couple spots that like I said, it's down to the base. I mean, there's not much. I tried to get it as traversable as it can be, but it's sort of adding a bunch more rock and there's not much.
I guess I'd call them and see if they could take them when they're gonna do one of these roads. See if they could go down there and back slope and then grade the road. Because yeah, the water sits in the road because the edges are higher than the road.
And that, the little grader I have is great for maintaining, but for the type of work that road now needs, it just doesn't really.
No.
I can't cut in it deep enough or hard enough to be able to.
He could come in there, Doug could come in there in a matter of an hour and have it all shaped up, graded up and ready to rock. So. Okay, what else, Race?
A couple of buildings, there's a couple of zoning permits. One was for garage and one was for. So, that's it.
05 is for savings materials.
Building permits and GT 0524 is the first one. Questions on that one? Which one?
That's the buildings on 310 Graham.
That's this.
The big one.
Oh, that's that one.
You got.
Oh, yeah, I get to see that one.
So
Any-
if I remember correctly, he's gonna raise that house then that's sitting there. Put these in place of the house, right?
Yes, yeah, so.
Oh, okay.
maybe like the house would be, where the house is, would be a building, and then on each side of the house would be a building.
Okay.
Are you Chris?
I'm Chris, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Nice to meet you.
Cause you weren't here last meeting, right? Neither was I, so,
I was in Indiana. so
Okay.
On a batch plant, yeah.
all right. Well, I see out here in front, you got a 33-foot, says center line of Graham Street. Are you anticipating that's a 60-foot wide street or
Probably, I think.
it's a 50?
Is it 50?
It's 50.
I think the goal is to put the buildings packed, some line of building next door. And or very similar, close to.
Yeah. I asked before we started if anybody, do you know where the lot lines are?
No.
You know, the problems we ran in now, you know, with people building on our easements, you know? Should we, with the magnitude of this, should we ask for that to be surveyed so we know exactly? Or is it not that big? I can tell you where one is.
Yeah.
If you wanted to work off that.
There was an easement going east and west. Is there across the property or just the road easement you're talking about?
Oh, no, that's other places in town with,
Other places and yeah, not yours.
not yours. Yeah, we're not.
If it
talking-
wasn't surveyed, we run into problems later.
People built on the city's easement.
Right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, right away.
Right away, right away. And we just gotta have the foresight not to let it happen again, but I can show you where one pin is up there.
Okay.
And my whole cement running north and south is the line
Okay,
on that side.
okay.
So I was kind of eyeing it up today, you know, and I kind of measured it off and yeah, your front of your buildings will be just fine.
How much topsoil is up there? Like, how much topsoil has guy got to remove to get to, is it a substantial amount?
You know, one other thing before we get there, between my property and that house.
Mhm.
That drains a lot of the county property. It all comes down through there, as has been for 50 years. Do you plan on making that even or leaving a waterway there? I mean,
Not sure. I thought I'd probably put it into the sanitary sewer. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, that's a plus for us. Just what we've been talking about.
I'm just kidding.
At least ignore that one.
No,
Touche.
not sure. I don't know what the soil type is, when we get down deeper. Is it sandy at all? Would it drain if a guy is a heady clay? What are we gonna hit?
You're gonna hit 2 feet at least of black dirt.
Yeah, and then after that, probably clay?
It'll be that clayish transition color, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not.
You know, and-
Clay, just kind of.
Are you gonna just crush rock in between all the
Yeah,
buildings?
I was thinking, so I was really thinking no grass. And the buildings sit up a little higher, right? And I was thinking crushed asphalt. So the buildings are mounted up and then it goes down between the buildings
Yeah,
with everything crushed asphalt all the way around. Cause that can be, just sprayed for weeds and,
Maintained easier.
and the one thing, there is only that one outlet there for as far as storm sewer
Mhm.
and be on your northeast corner
Okay.
or my southeast corner.
Yep.
And your great grandpa Herb
Mhm.
and my dad put that tile in, supposedly paid for it for like $500 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah,
And it's probably only about that big. I don't know how much water we can handle,
yeah.
you know? But again,
Yeah, so you're concerned because if we have more impervious surface, obviously we're
gonna
gonna
hit there quicker.
get more water, faster.
And I guess, you know what? It's been there so long. We got a new storm out here. So say in a year or two causes trouble, we have to run ourselves a new storm sewer because that also does run down here and pick up these. There's a run down here by this, one of these areas here on both sides of the road. That comes north and then goes that way, or goes west, and then goes north. So that is draining other areas besides just Graham Street.
Sure.
So I mean, just something to think about. I've never seen it ever overload that, even in the last month with all the rain, it's never overloaded that catch. But like you say, you would have a little more harder surface now.
Yeah, yeah. I really don't care to put, I mean, a guy could put some grass or other stuff in there. I really don't care to, because you gotta maintain it.
Yeah.
So that's what
So,
I was thinking. But the site work, I haven't spent a lot of time. Whatever it needs, it's gonna get, right? The black dirt will come out, class 5 go in. You know,
yeah. Oh, another thing, would you you be hitting, I suppose for the sewers, you'd have three
yep,
running right straight out to the sewer main.
yep,
As far as water, you're gonna do the same thing?
same thing, yep,
Same thing?
three separate services, yeah, so. The buildings would be rented or available for sale, so either way, right? And so that's why I would like, separate electric and water sewer connections, each one, so that in case that happens.
I didn't know if we could run one bigger water to the inside of your property and then tee off and go, you know?
We surely could, if you want one tap, that's fine, but I'd like them metered separately so that.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that would be no
And
problem.
I think the water usage could be really low, because it'll just be a sink and a toilet inside, just one bathroom. Of course, a guy could use it for pressure washing or something else too outside, but.
Yeah,
It's gonna call in for a locate to see where those utilities are and how deep they are, the water in the sewer.
I can tell you about where they're at.
Oh, okay, and are they real deep or what's your take?
Yeah, that sewer out there, I believe that baby's about, well, that manhole, it's at least 8 feet deep.
Okay,
And it could get deeper going up that hill. Because there's gotta be at least a 2 or 3 foot rise from Willard Street. Or is it Willard or Chapel? Chapel Street up to that next street.
yeah.
Yeah. So it could get very deep on the south end.
Are they running parallel to each other or are they far apart, the water and sewer? Are they stacked at different heights? Does anybody know?
The water main, I believe, is on the west side of the street and the sewer is on the east portion.
What is the construction, what is the size of the water main and what's it made out of? Is it PVC or is it
I believe that would be cast iron,
cast iron?
probably an 6 inch for sure,
Okay,
because that was put in Oh, way back 1970. Does it say anything on there about the water?
This amount,
No.
I have a map at the shop, but I can't remember what it is off the top. I know it's.
It'll be ample water and sewer.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the tap. So if it's iron pipe, I'll have to have somebody come in with a machine, get that tap put on.
So do you know when you may be starting or?
I could start pretty soon, probably within the next month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What about the current tenants?
So I haven't talked to the tenant at all. The renter's been there for a long time. Yeah, the rent's really cheap. I plan on giving that gal ample time. Like, I'm not gonna put somebody on the street.
Right,
So if that means doing a building here and a building on each side of her. I'm not gonna, so, my grandma's and my mom inherited it. And she just said, like, don't kick them, don't, so I'm gonna give her ample time. If we, get permitted to do it, I'm just gonna. If she needs, probably up to a year if she needs it, if she really needs it, but if she can be out in a month, or that'd be great. But, I'm not gonna put somebody on the street,
right, okay.
All right. Anybody else with a question?
This dog of that field is that property line or does it make a jog there? No, it's field there.
That picture's outdated now.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
that's all Roberts.
we added on to that street right there, that we had the right of way in there and.
but no, I'm just saying, see how this is,
That's all Roberts,
this,
Yeah.
you got trailers in it.
so the property line is actually there.
Yep, Maureen has had her surveyed and they all line up the property on Hiller Drive. If you go up there, we got white PVC, they line right up
Robert, how long is your building? How long?
120.
It's 120. So if I'm 60, about 64 or whatever, about half that, so it'd be pretty similar.
Yeah,
It'd be nice to line up the fronts, but I don't know, we'll see how things lay out.
I don't think you can quite. I was viewing that today. I think you're gonna be probably, you're gonna be 20 feet past. Yeah,
This way.
yeah. Mhm.
Who's the electric company here?
NSB.
So.
XL.
Okay.
And then there is that, maybe they'll move that street light then because that is sitting in the street. That one on the southeast corner of your property, that is in the street right away.
It is.
In the right,
That'll
yeah,
probably go away, yeah.
yeah,
We can put that in the service request with Excel to get, remove that. I would prefer the electrical to come into these buildings underground.
yeah,
So I'm gonna petition for that or in the application, put it in to go underground.
yeah. Makes it a lot cleaner.
Does, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Not worry about guys like with dump trucks or things. Hooking snagging lines, especially you just don't know who's gonna use the building for what, so.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're 10 feet from the back property line.
Yep. Mhm.
Robert,
And
is there a pin there on that back line, like fire shed?
The only pin that I know of is right here in this drain.
Okay,
That's the one. But then, like I say, Maureen has a pin here
Yeah.
and here,
okay.
and they line up pretty,
So a guy could cite that in.
yeah, they line up pretty well.
Yeah, because you can measure out that one pin back and then.
Yep. Yeah.
And cite that in and probably be.
Yeah.
very close.
then,
To your benefit, you'd be. That if you did find the property lines exactly or close, you'd benefit down the future.
And I can tell you, there's another one. I can tell you the other one is right here in this intersection. Race, did you find that one time or was that somebody else? I think Jake found it. There is another right away here in this intersection.
Okay.
And it's only that far under the gravel, so Race could find that in a matter of no time.
Yeah.
So. And I think with those two east points, you'd be good.
Is there, if I haul off a bunch of black dirt, where would we gotta go with that? Is there any place? Anybody need some dirt?
I got some. I got a whole bunch too, yeah, but anyway, you know what?
I would take some, but probably not as much as you're
Yeah,
needing to get rid of.
I could take some, and I went, my yard went flood because all this field runs into my property.
yeah.
We actually don't have that.
I don't know if them people that own that field out there that got drowned out would ever allow anybody to dump in there. I know if I had that piece of property and somebody gave me free dirt, it's like,
Build
Take
it
it.
up.
What about class 5 or pit run? Who's the closest?
well,
Irvine's got,
Iron Irvine?
I,
I
you know,
think
they
that's
had,
pretty
they used
sandy,
to
I
have some
think.
nice clays that would pack.
Yeah.
But I think that's almost
I
gone,
do too. I
you
think
know,
you're right, I think.
there is another. Can't think of it right now. There might be another pit that might have some of that. Otherwise, you know,
Oh, there isn't, doesn't SMC have a pit out here?
yeah, that's the one I'm.
Right off
thinking of.
Highway 166, old 66.
Okay.
About halfway. I don't know what the street number is.
35.
Down the Barches Road?
Yeah, I guess it would be down.
Yeah,
It's kind of in between Paylors and Barks.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
Yeah,
but they've been coming off of 35 now.
Yeah, they might, I think they entered from.
Yeah.
From the tar road now. Yeah, where the scale is.
Yeah, if you go north to town, was it 4 miles or whatever, that County Road 1 and 16, or is that cross 35, if you go down the hill?
I got Brian Irvine's number if you wanna
Sure.
Yeah.
call him and ask him sometime, and there was a great big pile out there early this spring, but, somebody took that over. Who was it? One of the big construction people.
Hmm.
Also, somebody came in and put up some material for themselves.
Yeah, can't think of who it is, but, it had something to do with 22 when they redone it, cause they hauled all the trees over there.
Yeah, I could haul Black Dirt off to wherever I could find pit run too.
Yeah.
Sure.
So-
Well, give him Brian's number and,
Yeah,
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 and he
Yeah.
can,
He
Go from
he
there.
would have somewhere no. No, he's pretty close.
yeah.
If he had some, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah, it's, yeah.
so anyway, this meets all the setbacks and side backs and front backs and all that, right?
Yep. I guess we've discussed everything that needs to be answered. Well, probably not, but we try. So with that, do we want to look at the other one? We can make a motion on both of them at the same time, no?
Maybe we should do this one separate. So
Separate?
Very significant.
Yep, okay.
You're taking as commercial.
With that then, Tom, you want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the building zoning permit CT 0524.
With that, somebody second? Second. Amy seconded, all in favor, say aye. Aye opposed, motion carried. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much. You guys done with me now?
Unless you're gonna run it in the sanitary sewer, we might have to talk about it a little more.
Never know. They might be calling on you for something. You never know.
Into the, in their basements or not.
Did we ever get a report from them people?
Yeah, there was an
Where's that report? Is that on file with Chris or?
It's on the
Sue?
computer.
Yeah.
It's a file that I got from
Okay.
MSG. Or from,
Yeah, we just replaced all our water meters in town and.
Oh, they checked it.
Part of the thing, we had them do it and then we asked for them to check for.
One of my renters, one of my other sheds does the televising and has real top shelf equipment. I texted his number.
Yeah, so
You could reach out to them, and then they also do the hydrovacing, and like your structure that's leaking, you could hydrovac like a perfect 4 or 6 inch around it and just fill it with concrete. I mean, it's just an idea. It would be a real low cost solution. Maybe to some of that stuff, but they're good guys. Usually you get the element, that's really nice. So.
Good.
Reach out to.
Yeah, that'd be good, thank you.
Small towns need good ideas.
I guess too, definitely want to attach this permit to these prints,
Mhm.
these drawings.
Yep.
Everything on these drawings is what we pass,
Right.
you
Mhm.
know?
And very nice drawings.
Yeah, very nice.
Very detailed, very nice.
We
We're
know.
not quite used to that.
No,
so.
a lot
Very
easier
nice.
tonight. Lot
Well,
easier,
It answers a lot of questions by looking at it.
yeah.
We thought about doing 4 buildings, but it'd be too tight, so 3,
Yeah.
3 we thought fit in there nice.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Do you have tenants?
No,
Tentatively, or-
nobody. So if any of you guys know anybody or there's any interest, feel free to mention it.
All right, yep.
It's kind of like, if you build it, they will come type of deal. I haven't had any trouble on my other site. We have like 14 buildings, so
What do you rent them out for?
What the price? you mean?
Yeah.
60 cents a square foot a month.
Okay,
Yeah, and these are, heated, in-floor heat, three-phase power and LED lighting, very nice, floor drain.
Single phase.
Oh, is it only single phase there?
Yep, you won't get no,
It'll be single phase.
okay.
You know, that's-
Yeah, three-phase, I surely take it.
I would sure would too. Yep.
I seen it was in your plan. That was
I'm surprised
208.
That they won't offer that in city limits. It's just not a,
It's, oh man, where is it?
how far away?
Well, it's down by the elevator for sure,
Yeah,
but, well, okay,
well, it's over here
it's over here. Yeah,
at the pump house.
pump house.
That's
Yep.
208.
And that's comes off of the back, I believe, don't it? Huh? And that
Yeah.
one
I
on
think
the
it does.
pole
Yeah,
of the map,
yeah, yeah.
right in the
I think
alley
it
there.
does. Yep, yep.
So that's as close as we can get it, and they don't have no intentions of taking anything that way.
yeah. When did the city get rid of its own utility? At one point, the city had its own utility, right? You did your own
Mhm.
I
Never
don't
did.
think we
Never did, not Good Thunder. Like Crystal's the only town I know that, and did Medelia?
I don't know.
I think
don't know.
Janesville does.
Janesville does.
Janesville does?
Oh, yeah, James.
Yeah.
I have another project going, I'm trying to work with Excel and I just could not get through the service request today. And I've been working on it for 3 weeks. I mean, week after week after week to try to, you can't get anybody. You go on, they want you to go online, but it's just a circle. It brings you back to nowhere. It's just a terrible struggle.
That's what we had with street, I mean, when did we submit the street light map to them?
Oh,
You never hear from them and then.
And all of a
suddenly
sudden they just
they're
show
here
up.
and
Yeah,
then they won't ever tell you, but you'll have street lights. But you
yeah.
only have some because they come back 5 or 6 times to put them.
If you go back 10, 15 years ago, there was a guy that came into town weekly. His name was Red.
Yeah.
He fixed streetlights, anything. But boy, you can't even get a human anymore on the phone.
No.
It's terrible.
He actually gave us his personal number, and if you had a problem, you just call him direct and.
Yeah, it's just awful to deal with and,
Yep.
so as luck would have it, I had a guy call me this morning that wants to buy a shed. And I said, what do you do for a living? He said, I just retired at 40 years with Excel. As a lineman, I said, how do I get a hold of somebody? He said, I'm gonna give you a number. Don't tell anybody that I gave you this number. And I got through right away. So
Really?
there is a way. Yeah, there is.
Excellent.
Don't lose the number.
Well, when Red retired, they had a Jason. I had his number. And then all of a sudden something happened and nobody's talking to any of the truck drivers. It's gotta go through corporate.
Yes, it's
Terrible.
Yeah,
Well, anyway, thank you.
yeah.
Yep.
Do I need like any paperwork or something? What about inspections? Is there inspections here? Okay.
Not in Good Thunder, no.
No,
Got to just stop and pay for a permit or pick it up or what?
that's why I asked the question, if everything on the print is gonna be what happens.
It is.
Mhm.
Have we paid or we need to pay?
nope, you paid. We'll do a building permit and get it out to you.
Okay.
Um,
That sounds good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Grace can contact you and then you can.
I think the only deviation would be, it's not even a deviation, would be the timeline on the house, right? So we're not gonna
Yeah,
make somebody homeless. So
yeah, that's understand.
Probably isn't
Understand.
enough room on the south side to build your south one, is
And
it?
if there isn't, there isn't, right? So then maybe we'll just,
But your north one will go quick.
yeah, maybe we'll do that. And I haven't mentioned anything to that gal because I didn't want to, we're just gonna follow this process through first, get that done and then. So I've never met her in my life, no idea,
Mhm.
but I think it'll definitely be an improvement. Because that house hasn't had fixing in years, so
Yep.
Yeah, city improvement for sure.
that would be good.
No, it'd definitely be a very good improvement.
Neat, clean,
Yep.
feel good. It's,
Yep.
And it's an opportunity for, say, a young guy that says electrician
yes,
and he has a service truck and he wants some supplies on hand, but he can't really afford to build a building, doesn't have the backing to do it. It gives somebody like that a great opportunity.
it's gonna be, be an electrician, or it'll be a plumber, or it'll be a garage door company, small garage door guy. Or it'll be a small, like HVAC, a guy that gets
Yep.
out of school that wants to go into that. A lot of guys in the trades. This is
Yeah.
like really popular use, of the buildings like that. So yeah, it gives them they can get into something right now,
Yeah.
something nice. And then, it seems to be like on the rental side, it's like a stepping stone. So they'll be there for X amount of years and then they'll, you know, get some equity in their business and themselves, and then they'll go build or buy something.
Mm.
In this case, we'd be willing to sell it to them, or they could, you know, build something or. But, it'll create a little bit more traffic in town if you get 3 more businesses,
Yep, absolutely.
you know, just patronizing the other businesses here in town, right? So.
Yep. Perfect. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Yep, yep. Okay, we got GT 0624. Questions on that one? I know that property is all surveyed.
So say it looks like it meets everything. So
Yep, so someone to approve this one?
I just told her she should make double check where that water comes across.
There's no way of doing that.
Yeah, we tried everything.
There's no copper line.
Plastic,
Yep,
you know.
there's no wire. There's nothing.
We tried to televise it from her house and it's
Yep.
got T in it. We made it.
I told her that'd be the only thing is if she built on it, but it's her problem anyway.
It's on her property, yeah. And we don't know where it comes across my property. She has a 75-foot
Yeah,
easement, right away, whatever it is.
They kind of just drew an arrow. Or kind of guesstimated probably.
Yep.
they gotta go dowsing for them.
So with that said, somebody make a motion to approve this one then?
I'll make a motion to approve GT 0624.
Someone second?
No, second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. All righty. Work phone for street department. I think I kind of come up with this idea, you know, because when we've switched employees, the number has always changed. I
Gotta
think it
start
should be-
over at square one.
Yeah, let's just get a business phone.
Okay.
For street
Yeah,
department.
for what it costs, we should definitely do it.
Yep,
Mhm.
You know, I'll make a motion that we allow race, I don't know, there's 2 different options in there. I would say whichever one you want to work with. You know,
Cause I did contact Verizon. It looks like, years ago, there was a Verizon phone here.
mhm.
yep,
There is no, you'd have to start up a whole new account. And I do have an agreement that an authorized signature would have to sign, and then they'll start the process. And it's like, what did I say, $39 a month?
Yeah,
And it's a free phone.
yeah,
And he has, so now, like when we had no power, he would still be able to have full internet and everything else, where the rest of us, our internet was really lacking. He would still have everything because he's that public sector.
Nice.
So his phone will, yep,
Hmm.
be priority over everybody
Cool.
else's. So
Nice.
so somebody make a motion, or did you, Tom?
don't move.
Someone a second?
I know Verizon's. there's a lot of-
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Amy seconded that, Sue.
thanks.
Anything else in, under your department, Race?
So I would try and start getting some of the curbs painted this week. And then we'll see how the weather lets me keep doing that. It looks like we'll have a pretty good week for the most part on that.
After Wednesday, I think.
Yeah, yeah, when it's gonna rain.
One thing, really do a nice job of preparing the curb. Last time they were paying, Robert paid for that himself. His people did that, and they kind of, you know, they did it as quick as they could just to get it done and all that, you know, so.
The top's gotta be clean, don't paint on the weeds, don't paint on the dirt.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was done free for the city, so.
I see, well, I know when we talked earlier this spring, there had a review, we talked about having a log of what you do or.
I have them. I just forgot to get them to Sue.
Okay, kind of, you know, just keep track of what you do during the day. Handwritten is just fine. Don't have to be sitting at the computer. Put it all back on typed out paper, just, you know. Anybody else in with anything for Race? Water sewer update, anything, Brian, give anybody a report? No?
Nope.
Okay, community comment. I think we already did that. Unfinished business.
So I contacted 4M again regarding the investments. And that one did term from LPL, the end of June. That's 533,000. So we can move that to the 4M fund if the city wants to. There are no fees to it, so, and I did in the meeting notes, I don't know if you guys read them, but it kind of explained how they get their fees. So the fees are all prior to the percentage that we get. So what we see here is what we get, or what the city gets.
How accessible is the money again? I think you explained.
Basically, they'll connect it to US Bank and we can move it. I mean, you can obviously put some into a CD, you can put some into a different type of fund. But you can also put it in more like kind of like a savings account, but it gets a lot higher interest. And then we can access it if we need to.
Because with what expenses have coming up, I see there's no tax revenue yet.
Well, we did get that. It hasn't showed up in our account, but I did get the email today for $199,000.
All right.
So that
I see
will
it
come by
wasn't
the
in
end of
there
this
yet.
week. I should have it in there.
That was the
Okay.
first half of, property taxes, right?
Correct.
So
And,
that- you can anticipate that again in December, right?
And yeah, I think so.
Something like that. I'm not sure when it is, but
I think it's before the end of the year, 'cause
Yeah.
they're collected in October.
yep.
So I think to get it done in that business year.
Half of the property and yeah, LGA, I think, comes now too.
Yeah, LGA should be coming in end of July.
It should be sometime this month.
Sometime, yeah.
That comes through that other,
MMB, yep.
yeah,
Is that like 80 or 90-ish thousand?
I think last year was about
Or did it tip 100?
60, 70,000,
How much?
60, 70,000, maybe a little more.
100. Wasn't that isn't that the two?
No, that's
Or
only
is that
once.
just the
isn't it?
once?
LGA is only once,
I
isn't it?
believe so.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it was, I don't remember.
At any rate, I'm glad you got the email. I
Anyway.
was thinking about that. I was kind of concerned that we hadn't seen anything yet. I'm
Yeah.
glad we're gonna get it so we can. Then I guess we should probably move ahead and move that, huh?
I think it's, from what I understand, we're getting a good rate of return, but we also have, it's easier to access the money in case we have like a catastrophe that we need to pay for all of a sudden, you know?
Yep. Yeah.
So that's kind of my,
I agree.
So this one here, this CD quick quote. Is that, none of that's invested or?
You're looking at LPL, that's what, the 533 is what's coming due now,
Okay,
or that's what was matured at the end of the month.
Okay.
The end of June, so that's sitting there for the city to decide what they want to do with.
and that's what we're talking about, moving to the four.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, and then what we can do if we want in December, when the other comes through, that can automatically be transferred over as well. We would just obviously do a resolution for that.
Right.
Then 4M would take care of all that for us.
so is it like every 6 months then that? It has to be there 6 months or not?
Not for the 4M fund.
Okay,
There are some programs that it does have to sit there.
Yeah.
Like they've got different options.
okay,
So the one option, because I had said we were looking at something that we could access if we needed to. And that's why he suggested this money market. I don't remember the exact terminology. But it gets a higher percentage. It was like 5%. Didn't get a chance to look this morning.
so will that be quarterly that we have to renew it quarterly, or do you put it in for a specific amount of time or?
The first one, my understanding, it's there, it's receiving that height. Now, then once we have the money in there and say we wanted to go into something, you know, say we want to put, you know, $500,000 into some kind of CD or whatever type for a specific period, then we could do that within that too. You know, I think to get started, it's nothing that LPA, but LPL is very silent. You know, the only time we talked to him was last summer when you first started and we were trying to flip whatever,
We were doing,
one matured and moving it to wherever else. You know,
Just so there isn't something in there that somebody misses and, oh, it's gotta be in there a year.
no,
this one, no, the 4M fund is not.
and the 4M is through
It's
League
the
of
League of Minnesota. Cities.
Okay,
Yeah.
all
Yep,
right,
and it's strictly for
City.
municipalities.
just, okay, yep, okay. Because like you say, something big happens, we wanna have that access to get that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
so. Well, somebody make a motion then to,
There's a resolution.
oh yeah, there is, isn't there?
24-09 is the one to do the fund.
to approve resolution 2024-09. Move the LPL to 4M.
Just the one though, correct, or for both of them? The one matures in December. So
Can you just,
2024-09 is just to enroll in membership at 4M,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So we need to do both of them.
correct,
Do we do them under independent one or under the same thing?
independently, please.
Okay. So John made this motion to adopt resolution 2024-09. Someone to second that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Now, somebody to make a resolution 2024-10.
I will make that motion to approve resolution 2024-10.
John made that. Somebody to second resolution 2024-10.
second,
Amy seconded it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. We had a bill in here, estimate in here for the bathroom at the park. Would that fall under you, Race, or was that gonna be under?
It's actually just to put a new roof on the bathroom. It's same product, it's the pretty rough shape. The shingles are all rolling up and yeah. Yeah, it's just
Who would be doing the work?
probably Kellen and I. That's just a bill for the material.
Okay,
You know, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a good project.
yeah, somebody want to make a motion then to approve?
I'll make some action approve, put a new skin roof on the city park.
Someone to second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
As long as we're talking about parks, just a bit, the little merry-go-round up here doesn't work. The little.
Oh, the small one.
Yeah,
Okay.
just take a look at it, see what happened, or maybe it came off or something. I didn't look at it, but I was told it doesn't work, so.
I just thought it was stuck in with Ellie like 2 days ago, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
And I don't know, maybe the weeds are starting to come through the P rock on the one
Yeah,
down there,
I found
maybe.
that too.
Yeah, just kind of hit them with some spray early in the
Yeah.
morning or something.
Yep, it's not like-
Good.
Can we go back to the CD that matures at Community Bank too? So do we need so that's the one that expire or matures
That's the end of July.
end of July, yeah, where the hell it was. So with phosphorus and North Holiday, I would collect that 125,000 from Community Bank once that is put back into our checking account too, to get us through, help us get us through fall.
That's probably a very good idea.
Yeah.
We'll make that a,
Do you want to do a resolution now with that, or do you want to wait until it matures? Because I think it matures, what did it say, July 20th? I thought it was.
Yes, it does. Yeah, we could wait.
We
you
can
could wait and you just sit there until the next meeting.
It's just gonna sit there, and I'll also let them know.
That's what
Um,
we're doing.
yeah, and that's at Community Bank, I think.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's the community, yeah. Because the other one I think is in August.
Yep,
then you can have the resolution ready. You have the
Correct.
Yeah.
yeah,
Next-
yep, then I'll
next
do the
meeting.
resolution for that too.
Would we need a resolution then to put it back in the general account also? Is that-
It'll just be one resolution to pull it out and put it back in the general.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good idea because like you say, got a couple big items coming up here and we got $199,000, but that ain't gonna go far on this project.
So, yeah, and
And the water and the sewer, some of that holiday would come out of the sewer, right?
Yep.
And how much are we got in there now?
We're still negative because John and I have yet to have time to sit and connect with Burkhardt.
yeah.
So every time we think we can do it, something comes up, so.
All right. Okay, new business? Any new business?
Well, I just, I guess new, but do we need to start talking about the building that we gotta build on the lagoon? The pad's poured, right? So we're ready to start thinking about a building.
Well, the,
Why did they just pour that small pad? I mean, that's where the tank I was gonna sit, I take it?
because there wasn't enough, we didn't have enough information on how everything was gonna go together to. Where the conduit needed to go to run from that, so it just didn't make sense at the time.
Is somebody planning to still try to build that so we can incorporate the existing wiring
Right.
into
Yeah.
the building?
Yeah,
And that was the reason why that Joe suggested that we go with that small slab. Cause we don't really know how everything's gonna line up in there until you kind of,
cause there's kind of what has to run out from the pump, the tank to they don't know where any of that's gonna go.
Seems like the, isn't the slab kind of like right in front of where the electrical would be entering the building?
well, but.
That was, we talked about moving that.
But we don't, right, but we don't know where the pump line is going to go. And there's power lines up in there now that he didn't know where they were, and he didn't wanna have cement poured over the top of that. So.
The power, we talked about moving the power line over once we get the building.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
right now it's gonna be, it'll be under the building number.
But I mean, to hook up where the panel is now, to incorporate that in our building, so
Yeah.
we don't have to
Yeah,
pay
Yeah.
for all that expense.
that's still,
Yep.
that still is the plan to keep, to
Okay,
build it around.
And that was the main reason why he suggested just do the small for the tank. We can make it run. And you can play with your building however you want after that, you know what I mean?
so is that on footings? That's like,
No, that's
I
got,
don't think so.
no, that's got,
just on slab or on grade?
yeah.
Well, what about a foot thick,
What was it?
No, it's not a foot thick.
8 inches, I suppose?
Or maybe it is a foot.
No, I think it is.
I think it is a
Yeah.
foot thick, now that you say
Yeah,
that.
that is. That's.
Yeah.
Well, I found that.
Yeah.
To me, that's got the cart ahead of the horse, you know, you would have planned it all out, poured it of cement all in one shot, you would have thought.
We could have had that all done if they'd engineered it. There's the deal.
Again,
So if, we want to do it ourselves to save 30,000,
yeah,
this is how we have to do it.
okay,
So, or whatever we'd save.
all right. So the plan is to have a building around it yet? All by fall?
If possible.
Yep, okay, and
It's the
we
way
can
to do
just,
it.
we can just have a local guy come in and
Yep.
build it?
That's why they didn't want to engineer it.
Yep, yeah,
Have a door facing what direction is that? East?
yeah,
No, the other direction, facing the west. Facing the west. Yep.
The fence has to move it.
And yeah, because you gotta move that fence too,
yep, yep,
and put up a gate in there.
yep,
And that all can be done as we see fit. We don't have to have that engineered.
right,
You get a fence person in there and they can line it up and do it,
yep.
I have a quote for a fence, but, or the gate, but I haven't done anything with that. And that goes, I didn't know if we were gonna, with the project being more, I didn't know if we were gonna still try and get the building done this year, if that was gonna be a next year thing, so I didn't.
I think we should try to get the building in
I
this
do
year.
too.
I mean,
Yeah.
much as we can.
Yeah.
But the goal is to get it operating by last discharge.
But you would have to have a building before winter, because you wouldn't want that to freeze, or would you let that go in?
That doesn't freeze.
I mean, I guess
It doesn't
it
freeze?
could set out, it's all, but.
Well, he
we
made it
don't
so
want-
all you had to do is have a
Yeah,
lean to.
just have.
Ryan said that the ferric chloride is really stable. When Chris had said the aluminum sulfate, I was talking to Brian Beckel, that's what he uses, and he says if you leave that exposed in the winter, it crystallizes.
Part of
the-
the zone.
The ferric chloride is a relatively stable thing. There's not really a worry about it freezing.
Really, the building is our idea.
Yeah.
Really, so. But yeah, we should work toward that, so, if you get a fence guy to look at it,
I have that done already. I think.
put the gate and
Yeah,
everything,
the gate, nothing else, just the gate.
there's no sense in looking at it unless we have a gate in there that's gonna work.
I think that was in the 14 range for the gate, I think. I can't remember. It was right around that.
Anything we can do to move it along, would be good.
And the whole fence around that east edge there, now the water went through and sagged it again. I don't know if you can take it stretch at a time and start pulling it up and rewiring it, get it
No.
stretched back up. Been sagging for a long time. So, all right, is that under new business?
That's where I had it.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody else with new business?
As far as for a building size, I know we talked about 12 by 20.
Yeah, something like that.
Looking at that with, when you measure it all out, you might have to go 12 by or 15 by 20. But
That ain't gonna really make much difference, that little bit. Anybody with miscellaneous business?
I did hear back from Representative Olson. Cause I had sent him an
Yeah.
email and then I also sent the letter. And he will be at, and I'm not sure if he'll be zooming or if he will actually be at our August meeting
Okay,
to discuss. More information that he needs or how they can help us with that.
Super.
super duper. What was our thoughts on seal coating? Yes or no this year?
no, we've.
No,
pushed it on this.
That's right. Cause we still probably have some blacktopping
Yeah.
that we will do. They come in to do that alleyway. Like down there by the school that, I don't know what their names are now. We talked about maybe putting a blacktop curb in there to keep that water from running across to the intersection
Yeah.
down into their property.
Yeah.
I,
That's a sketch too.
I got one, right, like the other person I reached out to, I think I told you I got the one from WW Blacktop, the other person that.
Yeah, yeah.
Just hasn't, I think the one from WW is like 4,700 now. I haven't got, that's with the curb included, I don't,
Yeah, I mean, I think that was about the range of what he was talking about.
So if we wanna do-
$3,000-4,000, you know?
To redo that intersection or? put it
No,
all
that's
Not to redo the intersection, but to direct the water
Down there. south?
down that drainage way that's been there forever.
Okay, so that brings it up. Would
West.
we ever put a catch basin in there and put a pipe underground down to that?
If we get our $14 million, you bet.
$10
That's part of
million?
that project.
Yeah.
That's been,
Part of
to
that
put some
project.
riprap in there, right?
yeah, this one would just be, it'd be putting a blacktop curb.
Yeah.
That would protect the house, and then there'd be riprap. In that
Down
little
the
gravel
right.
area, to slow it down as it goes over the edge there. They'd probably have to put some riprap,
They're kind of a simple
something to slow
grade
it down
of
and
the existing draining way.
get it by until you get.
That's the city's property going down there, right?
Yeah,
Yep, but not at
So-
the bottom.
No, but so it'd be up to us to keep that riprap, clean up weeds, 3 foot,
Yeah.
5 foot high weeds.
Yep.
So,
yeah, spray it.
That was the reasoning behind Joe's thought that we don't want to direct any more water down that slope than what has been done. So,
yeah. Right here in this area, right here.
Yeah.
And we have that tile right here.
Yeah, we could, yeah, right there, yeah, right there.
right down, and it's kind of, this flows here, but we only have access down here.
Yeah.
That's it, so. That's what he suggested, let's not get all carried away and do a whole bunch of change in here and direct more water than. This is catch what's supposed to go there and let it go.
Oh, but I thought is right in front of the house here. That you put a blacktop curb in there for 40, 50 feet.
That's what we're talking about.
That's a separate, that would be a separate situation there.
Because it comes across this corner right here, right down into their house. So the blacktop's all broke up right now anyway, right?
Yeah.
Pretty well broke up.
But wasn't he concerned though that we don't wanna be doing something like that today when next year we could be allocated the money to actually fix all that?
The blacktop, yeah, we talked about the blacktop curb to shield the house as something that would be a good idea, but you don't wanna
That's
get,
a temporary.
yeah, you don't wanna get too involved and then have that project come through and then you're.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you wanna spend 10, 12 grand today and. You know, what if you do get allocated that money and then you've just wasted that money, you know? So,
And if you tie that catch basin into the one that goes down by the school, that wasn't a very big pipe. So there's against it, that's back up anyway and get overloaded.
And maybe, if the school gets up and going there, that street there that erodes something terrible on
Yeah.
each side
yeah,
would be, would that qualify for putting a curb and gutter down there?
That's
spillway or
all
something.
into the
That's on-
project.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cause
that's,
that bonding would go all the way up to, we would redo everything up to that intersection.
yep,
yeah.
It would
curb and gutter and
Yeah.
controlled waterways, the
Speaking
whole
of the
9 yards.
So if you want me to, if you want me to tell MW to go ahead and do it, I can do that. It's.
Well, I think so.
Cool deal, I heard he wanted to pay some of that tax.
They did. I know they did.
Oh.
3 months ago already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the word finally got spread out,
Yeah.
but he's still trying to get that funding
Grant.
or grant money.
That's what the holdup is.
So,
I don't know what, I mean, I don't know. It's
So-
their problem.
I was just thinking out loud. So when we get WW into town, there's some blacktopping areas that need to be done. Who? You know some areas that need to be fixed, or should we just,
There's not a whole lot that, I mean, there's an area up by Jim Day's house that we,
yeah, for that, yes.
but as far as, there's really not, other than this.
Well, down there across from Kristen Coles, that against that.
Yeah,
that
that's-
Broke up and,
That whole road is in,
I know, but
Yeah.
it's bare rock there, I believe. That needs to be on the list to get fixed, because it didn't get fixed the last time. I guess us as council, if we see anything, we write it down and bring it to council.
I can run around when Eric comes out I'm sure he'll be through,
Yeah.
I can go around with him too, but.
Well, if we see something, just let Sue know.
Yeah, yeah.
there's a spot on Middle Street, never rains there, it kind of.
That's,
get-
yeah,
got
that's
the
what I'm
one.
talking about.
Yeah.
Like
The
that,
one north of me,
yeah.
you know, just the,
Where the curb settled?
oh, actually, I think it's the blacktop.
Yeah, the curb, the
looks
curb
good.
and the street is
Yeah.
settled there a little bit, yeah. All right, anything else under miscellaneous?
We need to schedule a budget workshop.
No.
Yes, we
No.
do.
Again?
You may
Already?
learn about it, so now we need to use it.
Just did one, I thought.
A year ago?
Feels like it.
It was,
It
pain-
does.
you still remember the pain?
Oh, man.
You remember, you know how time goes
It's
so by
wild.
anymore, it's just terrible.
Thought that the other day, the older I get, the faster it's
It
going.
is.
I don't know, I had time to work.
You made time. So, when you wanna do that in
Yep.
middle of August,
Whenever you guys can,
kind of when we used to do it,
is
right?
it? I'm not
Middle
sure.
of August, kind.
We wait till the meetings, the
Mhm.
12th.
That was like the end of September or something, wasn't it?
Is it the end of September and of October that we have to have the preliminary? Don't
I
remember.
think it's the end of September, wasn't it?
Okay.
Yeah,
I believe so. And then we have until December to lower,
Yes.
lower it, can't raise it, but we can finalize it and lower it if we need to be.
um. Actually, if we could do one in July, I'd be down. That way we have to do more in August, we can.
It'll be nice just to get an idea of what projects are that you wanting to get, that type of
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Well, I am scheduled to be out of town the 20th through the 26th. In July,
Sometime before the 20th or sometime after the 26th.
and if I wouldn't have to be here either, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Unanimous.
I can't do it the 19th.
Could we do it the last week of July? That will give me time to kind of go through it a little bit, and then hopefully, John, we can sit down with Burkhardt. and
Yeah, before that time.
figure it out.
Yes,
Will that give us enough time?
yeah, I would think so.
29th, 30th, or 31st, as long as it's after 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, at least in the afternoon.
3 weeks from, 3 weeks from tonight. At what? 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock?
29th, whatever everybody can get here.
Anybody, that
July
work?
29 work for everyone?
Or whenever.
29th works for me.
That's for me.
Okay.
5 o'clock, you said?
I'm
Sure,
good
if
with
you
5.
want.
I mean, I'm here anyway, so.
We could start it earlier if everybody can be here earlier, but I don't know if you.
I can be here.
Can you make 4?
I can make 4.
Probably 4
I
be,
can make 3, I can make 4, I can make whatever.
Scott,
Scott,
Should be able to.
4 o'clock?
4 p.m.?
all right, let's do it.
Wait,
Let's do it.
O'clock on the 29th.
Mhm. Alrighty, anything else yet under miscellaneous? We forgot that we put off from one meeting to another.
I just wanna bring up the bell tower. All the brush around it stuff,
Hedge,
whatever they are. Do they need to be trimmed back or can they be removed?
should be removed because they're gonna rot it out after.
Is there a significant reason they're there?
It was to hide it, the structure underneath. If you take it out, you'd have to put some lattice in
Yeah.
there to cover it up. Then paint it or stain it or whatever to make it look appealing. You know, the point of the hedge was to keep it down below the deck level. Just to cover up that area, but it never got maintained and got out of control and. So now if you cut it back, you have nothing. So
So is it something that can be cut back and does it regrow correctly then, or is it too far gone?
that stuff grows like weeds, huh? That huckleberry stuff.
I don't know.
You'd be better off if
Redo
you could
something different?
wrap a chain around it, pull it out. Or take forks and just kind of
Pop it out.
pop it out.
Should that have its own power instead of?
It should have. We talked about that years ago, coming off that one pole and setting a meter. It'll all be the city's expense, right, to have an electrician
Yeah.
come and set a meter, but right now, I mean, yeah, it comes off the car wash, and is it even available to have power there now with the car wash not open?
If you ask him, he'll turn it on, but
Okay,
I know that last year, not that the farmer's market's been real active this year, but I know last year they'd asked if that did have power because they would like to bring.
Well,
I think it should have its own
I
power.
do too, you know, and that's part of the Parks Department. Heck, why don't we just have to give you a quote on what it would take to get power there?
Yep,
You know, some 20 amps plug-ins, you know,
Yeah.
3,
I
4.
think maybe you should wait though until you get
or
it,
Something.
clean it up first, you know, and then maybe once you redo it and then get power out there.
And it might-
There's outlets on it. I mean, it's
Or
got,
the wire
it's
it?
just, the wire comes from the,
Yeah, it isn't proper.
Yeah.
All right.
I was curious that tent behind Jewison's, well, on the other side of Jewison's there. I remember you had brought up a long time ago that, were you gonna tell them to remove that or?
that's,
the pallet shed,
he took that down. What he's got now is like a little portable.
Like a
Oh,
carport.
oh, that's different than what was there, what you were talking about. Okay.
Yeah, Sue and I have been trying to figure out on things like that, is that a permit or is that?
If it's up more than so many days,
Temporary structures don't need a permit.
That's.
One of those things.
I know, but-
Buy at Menards, that metal with.
Because if it's not, what makes it permanent? Because like if someone hauls in a swing set or something and that swing set sits for. Is that,
That's permanent.
is that?
You know, you cement or fasten that to the ground, but
But if
usually
you-
these things here, you
Yeah.
just
it's
have the
like
cement things that you.
But do you have to have a
Oh,
permit
okay.
for a swing set?
no,
Yeah, like
No,
if you're not,
Not really.
that's what I'm saying is if you're
So
not.
where's the line? Like these Rubbermaid
Not-
sheds? Do you have to have a
that's not
permit for that?
structure.
Okay, but what about like the Rubbermaid sheds?
Like a ready.
That does.
The ready shed needs a permit?
What if it's not on,
Correct.
what if it's not concreted? Or what if it's just sitting on, they just set it down and they can move it?
Now, then, we've always had permits. In the past, we've always asked for permits for those garden sheds.
it should be even that tarp thing, because you know, you could start getting 50 of them growing.
Well, that's
Well,
again,
that's 'cause
it's kind of a gray area that we're
He
trying to figure
asked
out.
us about that and we could not find a definition of yes or no.
Mhm.
Because that's,
Whole thing of permit is so you're not putting it in the right, on the property line or make sure it's all.
Mhm.
And I bet
property.
that one's sitting right on the property line, right?
I'm pretty sure it's pretty
well,
close.
I think he found the pins and I think it's close to it.
Depends who you ask.
Yeah,
Side yard would be what, 3 or 4 feet or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's.
That property back there's messed up anyway,
Mhm.
Yeah,
cause it's got, yeah, jig jags.
So if they move a shed from one location, like a tin shed from one location to another,
permit,
do you need a permit for that?
right?
I think so.
Yeah, cause that'd be more.
But if you want to get clarification on something that technical, why don't, just go ahead and call the attorney. Just have him look at the ordinance and give you the advice, and we may have to change the ordinance or not have a permit. I mean,
There's
that's.
gotta be
the way it
something
is.
in the ordinance, just like when we put up the graduation tent, it was a, you know, a huge tent over the whole driveway. And, the tent people were late, they couldn't come pick it up or whatever. And they're like, you know, are you gonna get in trouble with your city? Will it be out of city ordinance? Cause it was gonna be like a week. We loved it, cause we parked our car under it. I would have loved it to stay, but they were worried about like the city ordinance of that tent being up too long. It's gotta be in there somewhere, probably.
So there's, I mean, there's a lot of things that have come to light in the past week or two regarding property lines and tin sheds and ready sheds and, you know, can you just move them and, you know,
You mean move them from one
move them from
section there?
this spot to this spot and now you could be encroaching on the neighbors.
That just kind of
So-
goes back to there on Holiday, what we found out how they encroached on the cities right away,
Yeah,
you know? I guess you know what, we should make it so anything has to have a permit.
well, why don't we? I mean, we don't spend anything with the attorney anymore.
No,
I don't know, not at least not for this case. Why don't we have them? Okay, and get these questions that they have now clarified with them. So,
Yeah, I agree.
and we don't have to sit here and talk about it.
Mm.
Talk about it. It might all be in there.
and if we have to change it,
We'll change it.
Yeah, I think we do need to vote.
We need to start working on the ordinance committee thing again and get that going or something. Cause I think a lot of the,
But you know what? This is the reason why I've been kind of dragging my feet, because over the past 4 years, we've not had anything but the negative side of the ordinances brought up.
Mhm.
These are positive things that you're bringing up here today. You know what I mean? These should be part of our ordinances.
Mhm.
And so we can,
That makes sense too. We're working on the good things instead of all the,
yeah, you're working on
Yeah.
the positive sides of ordinances, you
Mhm.
know, whereas before, all we ever got was all the complaining about the
Mm-hmm.
ordinances, you know? So let's utilize our attorney, I think, anyway. and
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Let's get some advice and, you know, then we can just do one change of the ordinance rather than,
right.
you know,
like you say, our attorney bills are almost non-existent.
right? There's not even one, I don't think, in there this month, you know?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, is there? I didn't-
280 bucks.
Okay, that's why I didn't even.
Sorry.
notice it.
Yeah, but there's a digit off of
Yeah,
that. We're
right.
used to having,
We moved the decimal point the wrong direction.
Right, so why don't we go ahead and, you know, do that? I don't know why it was always such a negative before, but it's gone away and, yeah, let's start working on these positive things. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, maybe ask them about an ordinance committee or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
One more question I have and then I will be done. The,
it's early.
yeah, that's true. I just lost the word.
Uh-oh.
The night out.
No, National Night Out.
Night out. Are we gonna do that this year? And when is that?
It's first, beginning of August, right?
Usually in August, I don't know when.
Idea.
It's usually the
Yeah,
Is it the
first
first Tuesday
Tuesday.
or something like that? Or
It's what
second
it has
Tuesday or
been.
something?
Of August.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's right in the beginning
I
of
think it might be
August.
the first Tuesday of August.
Okay,
Years past
Probably.
was always the first Tuesday, cause we'd always have to come up with the fire truck.
okay, cause I know, I think Phil asked me a while ago if we were gonna do something like that and I said. I didn't.
August 6th.
Okay. August
That'd be
6th.
before our August meeting then, right? August fifth, is it?
August sixth.
Okay.
Our meeting,
Yeah,
I think
Tuesday,
is
August sixth.
the 12th of
Yep,
August.
12.
So do we want to do that? I know this much about it, so I'll do some research and try to figure out, but some help from somebody would be good.
And they get to have feedback last year because the city did not.
Correct. That's why I am proactive this year now that I know when it is.
Good idea.
So,
But it
Is there
was
like a
kind of
budget for
all
it or?
turmoil right there, and
I
that's
don't know.
what.
No, not necessarily.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know what you guys have done. I've never been a part of it before.
Me neither.
I mean,
I've seen pictures, but I'm not an event planner.
With it either, to be
So-
honest with you.
I've
I've
went up
been
to-
trucking most of the time when I've had it, so
So I don't know how you guys want to deal with that.
I've always been gone trucking, every had it, so I've never
I've
been
always went up
involved.
to it.
You always want to- So are you willing to help me figure it out? Cause I am not an event planner.
Yeah, I'm willing to help you. I mean, if there's a budget there, you know, because I don't know. Sarah Carroll's always
Yep.
headed it. I always went up there with the fire trucks, but
Okay,
Sarah did root beer floats, a few games. There was always some hot dogs. There was always, I mean, some cheap stuff like
Is
hot
there
dogs.
something about like ice cream?
I remember an ice cream truck or something at one
A little
point.
ice cream.
Oh, and then, who's that? That Irish,
Jack McGowan.
Jack McGowan, so thank you. She had Jack McGowan come with some like
What is that?
teeter tots and like, I don't think he probably does it anymore, but.
Well,
yeah.
like games, you had somebody that actually
Yeah.
brought
Some small
games.
children games,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay,
And like stuff to look at, like there's like an old kind of piano thing, which, you know,
so does anybody know any contacts for things like that?
that's what I was wondering, maybe we want to do like some kind of committee for, or,
Well, that's what, and it doesn't have to be a city sponsored event. It's a national night out thing. It's not necessarily a city sponsored.
No.
I'll definitely come up here, I mean, and figure some stuff out. I just like, do you want me to sponsor the hot dogs or like,
Well, let's meet sometime
okay.
if council's okay with that. And then, do you guys normally have set a budget for that? Do you know?
Was this?
We always contributed something
Yep.
Like
towards it.
$500? That hits me in the
I
head.
think so, probably.
That's not-
Yep.
That sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah,
I would think so.
Yeah, that's advertising.
Okay.
And yeah, the fire department's done fire truck rides, right, Scott?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'll reach out to our Deputy Hagan.
You know, they were always there too.
Yep, and he's there.
Actually, that neighborhood landing zone thing too.
I was gonna say, I was thinking what's going through my mind, we'll let you take care of that. You make that happen.
Or, well, I don't know that are actually coming. We don't want people. That could turn into a fiasco.
Forget what it's
That's how
called.
this national
Amusements where you
night
can buy them.
brought up at the meeting. It's like,
Oh, like the bouncy houses?
Yeah. Is that something you know, a guy get a few pieces of that to get a little, taught something to do?
Check at the
or-
pricing or
Sure.
I think
something to try and draw the crowd out, you know?
Right, yep.
Call Lake Crystal Chamber of Commerce. They had it a couple of weeks ago, see where they got theirs from.
I think A
Did they have
Z
that there?
rental, I think
That,
doesn't.
Well, I was gonna say, I
There
bet
was
you.
that
AZ
some
rental.
amusements there right on Madison Avenue past Victory Drive.
G&K,
There you go.
Oh, yep, yep.
but I don't know where, I know Lake Crystal, if you,
I will check with some of the area cities
what's her
and
name?
see what they
Julie
kind of
Reed?
do and,
The Chamber of Commerce, I think, that
okay, I'll reach out
she
to
would
there.
tell you or lead you to it or.
Would you do anything about bugs in that park for,
Yeah.
Yes.
can
how
you
bad the
find it?
mosquitoes, how bad they've been?
You got spray?
I don't have anything like that.
Why, can you buy some?
Yeah,
I
you
can
should
look
buy
at-
some. They're not that expensive.
Yeah, it should be sprayed this year or drive you nuts.
Oh, no kidding. I mean, you just, I mean, at least give it a try. I mean, even if you just run over it a few times with the water mixed, you know what I mean? Just like you spray out a garden hose like I was doing today.
Yeah.
Only you don't do it out of a garden hose, you do it out of a tank.
Right.
Mhm.
It's the same stuff.
Same
You
thing.
can just buy it anywhere. You don't
With the
need a
fogger
license for it.
type thing or?
I'd be curious if, I mean, Min Lake Fog, I'd be curious if, is there something that we could work out with them? They have a whole fogger rig for their truck. They do it twice a week in there. Is that something they could do is,
I see the city of Alden probably 6 weeks ago, one night at 11:30, 12 o'clock when I come through there. This pickup come across the viaduct and there's things sticking out. And they must have been spraying for mosquitoes
that's it.
Sure.
at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night.
Min Lake does it twice a week. They do it Mondays and Thursday mornings. They have a fogger they bought from,
Well, I guess you know what?
So maybe we,
Relying on everybody else, check on the price of what all them buggers are. Get her own.
Yeah, it's been late.
so he said the way that the way that they did it is they got theirs like 10 years ago. So it was like $6,000, I think he said, and they get it from, it's a company in Wells that builds them. And then they do it twice a week down every street. And then they just add that on to, the utility billing. That's how they pay for it. It was like, I wanna say it was. He said that it's like 11 or 1,200 bucks a year in chemical. I mean, it's, as far as chemical goes, that's.
Well, I can see they have to do it a lot more than we would have.
Right.
They got the lake and the slough and everything right there.
So I was just wondering if we just did like.
We just-
parks,
You just do it once
Or just do the parks,
Right.
before this event, or just do just do the park.
so the kids can play or whatever.
Yeah,
Cause I mean, I'm kind of a tree hugger. I don't do chemical on my lawn or anything like that. Like, I don't necessarily want chemical around my.
That's a mosquitoes.
Sorry.
You must have that just says do not spray in your yard.
And If
Find
you're just in the
something to
parks, I
spray.
mean, they've been, you can't hardly stay in them for more than a half hour.
I just poison my body with all those sprays that you can buy to keep them off.
Yeah, I mean,
Doesn't matter.
I don't spray myself with bug spray or anything like that either.
whatever. If you do it.
Do you have a
do it
four-wheeler?
Early in the morning.
No,
Before kids get there.
Yeah.
So, but anytime,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know,
yeah.
Or
you
at
don't-
night or however it works.
You could do it a couple times a day or two before. and then
Mhm.
be out, but, or,
Yep.
yeah,
I don't think you're gonna get them in one shot this year.
I don't think so either.
But yeah, it's definitely something before that event would probably be good.
That would be really nice. And if you had a little extra, you go to the other park and
And
we don't have any ball players. We don't have to worry about them. It's just a little piece of park
Mhm.
there, you
Yeah,
know.
there's-
Yep.
Take
Well,
it.
and there's kids utilizing that basketball court
Oh, yeah.
back thereof down
Yeah.
there. So maybe it'd be nice to try to do
Yeah.
something to
Yeah.
fix that up at one point too.
Yeah,
It'll
would
be
be,
in
I
our
was
budget
looking at
worksheet.
that too, you know, we always shoot ourselves in the head or in the foot or whatever. I mean, you know, we don't do anything because we're gonna drain some water or make another project out of it. And it's been sitting there as long as you and I've been on council,
Yep.
looking the same damn way.
Yep,
I was
absolutely.
thinking we should have, as long as WW's in town, we should just
Put a new mat over
put
the
a new
top.
mat over the top of that. That's not good enough. That's too bad. I mean, but
At
it
least
sure
it's
be
something
nice.
better than what's down there now.
That's right.
Cause I do see
Absolutely.
kids going by my house to go down the hill.
And you know what?
That's a good idea, Tom. Just put a cover over it.
Yeah, be done with it.
Put a 3-inch mat over it and you have something again for the next.
And you know
30
what
years.
would be even nice too? Would be if you could put a curb up around it so that you could flood it for a skating rink again. Cause we're gonna get cold again. All this is
Skating
gonna,
rink was,
no, it was closer
it was close to the house,
to the
the
house there.
nice house there.
But I mean, you know, that way there you could throw a sandbag in there. I mean, they gotta have openings to get the water off. But you could throw a sandbag in there, flood it
Yeah.
and I do that a couple of times. Cause we're gonna get through this cycle of too much heat, too warm, one of these years. But then it'll be done.
Not, not that it sounds like you're not thinking this far, but, if you wanna look at, Amboy just put in their little, they just put in a little sport court last year and
Pickleball.
it's a multi-purpose. They got I think they have pickleball, basketball hoops.
Yeah, well, we got that all shot down because we got the pickleball coming here and all that in the big building, but this way here, if you got them in town, have them just do that.
Yeah.
Shoot, it's another load.
Yeah.
A blacktop.
Yeah.
You
Make
know?
it something so that the kids have something decent.
Yeah, and if they can put a curb on it, so that looking into the
Even if
future,
it kept 2 or 3 kids off the street,
yeah,
one extra night a week, it'd be,
be worth it.
Yep.
who
Yeah,
knows, it might be used more than we think.
and yes, I know if you put a mat on there, the basketball hoops are gonna be 2 inches too low and all these technical
Who
things.
cares?
But it's
Who
better than
cares?
what it is now.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
It's a step up.
So,
Make it more appealing to go down there and play.
right.
yeah, yeah.
Get some new nets, put some new nets on the
Yeah,
hoops,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Uh,
Maybe while you're up there, kind of bend the hoops a little bit, you know, and then, yeah. Put some new nets on it. And just the little things like that would really dress that up a little bit. Paint the poles, you
Yep.
know, just.
Would you need more lights down there
No,
or? Well, if you're gonna do it, make a skating rink out of it, I guess it'd just be daytime units.
I wouldn't go that far right now. Let's just do this.
Start and see if.
It's a summer thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's daylight till 9:30.
9:30 at night, yeah.
Like you said, it keeps some of these kids off the streets. Hopefully.
Is the vandalism kind of backed off or you still get it here and there yet?
I had to grind, the N word off of,
I know you,
they carved into that slide, but that's been the only thing that I've
So
seen.
basically, it's the same person doing it all.
Yeah,
that was just the one time, right? Or that was
I
just.
tapped in 3. Yeah, I just caught that one. I did 2 of them. I did one earlier this year in that same park on the plastic. They carved the same thing into it and then, I got one last year, same thing on the other.
Yeah, I remember that last year, but.
But outside of that, it's been nice.
Pretty
Have we-
amazing.
Have you ever looked into like cameras for there or? Maybe even like fake ones to say you're, you know. You're being surveillance.
Yeah, I mean, I think have you looked at cameras in the past? And there just hasn't really been,
I know they're expensive.
well, even now, if you're starting a phone, I mean, if you just put the cellular trail cams, or even just regular trail cams, aim high up in trees and aim them down, or,
Mhm.
Well, the last time we had cameras and it was hooked up to an employee's phone and you talked to the lawyer and he says, well, why would you have them if you didn't have somebody monitor them? That wasn't the point.
well, now, but
Got
now they'd be
into it.
hooked up to the city, they wouldn't be on my phone, they wouldn't be on
Right.
Sue's phone, they'd be on the city phone, and that's. I don't want them on my phone, I don't,
Nope.
but. Even if you just do trail cams, or if you.
You
want-
can get them with the internet on
Yeah,
them.
you get this, if you already have the
I get
cellular,
the SIM card.
yeah, and you can go with just the regular trail cam, you gotta pull the. Roll out of, or you get the cellular ones that send a picture to that phone if they're.
Even if you did it on a short-term basis, to
Yeah.
maybe curb some of the vandalism.
I mean, there should be something pointing at least the buildings and the nicer playground equipment, cause you just don't want that getting ruined. Every time that someone carves. If they carve something into that plastic, I mean, you can't. You can't get it out, I mean. If you just all you can do is ruin it to the point that it's not. Offensive anymore. So,
Thing is, it's the same thing over and over, so chances are it's the same person.
yeah,
So first time they get caught or we figure out who it is, it's
yeah, then you can,
Then we may not need it
hopefully
anymore.
that'll take care of the problem. Until
but
I figure out who it is.
not something we need to figure out this instant, we can think about it for,
Right.
Another time,
yeah.
when more stuff comes up.
Down there at the ballpark, I see with all that warning track, all that water come off and you got a trench about this deep, about that wide.
I'm gonna cut that down, make us.
Well, I would just probably fill back up with dirt.
Are you talking about the one that comes out of the warning track, or the one that's a little bit over by the pile
It's over
in the grass?
in the grass.
Yeah.
I mean, if a kid was running, it'd bust a leg. So I mean, it's just because of so much water.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you have to fill it with 1.5 or whatever and put some dirt in it to hold it, put it back so it's up even anyway. Make an attempt to fix it.
Seeded.
Seed it, yeah. Since we were talking about trees here so much, whatever happened to the ash tree treatments?
uh. Mike Samuelson, I have to re-get my pesticide license, and the county proctor for the test retired. So I just have to set up a date for, I think they just closed the listing for the new. Person of that position, or I have to go over to like Waseca County, and
You just can't go online and do it all?
no, you have to do it at the county building.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was being supervised.
Yeah, Blue Earth County has a Scantron, and Waseca County does that on a computer, but it has to be it's a proctored exam, you have to. Matter of,
Because I mean, I think you suggested to have Race get that.
Yeah,
Start treating it,
he's got the authority to do all that.
Yeah.
Already. We passed all that as a motion.
Anything else on the miscellaneous? Anybody else? I guess I don't have, the only thing I think is very sad that the dam store was gone. I know there's people that want that dam gone, but that dam kind of just stood there and looked at them and went, ha ha ha.
It did, didn't
And it went around the dam and, you know, to me, it's a part of history that you'll never get back,
Yeah,
you know? You probably ain't up to date like you used to be when you were working. What is the plans with the dam?
well,
Anybody know?
I think this has changed all their.
Yeah, so
Yeah, come on.
now
I don't know.
Well, yeah, you're a Rapidan boy.
yeah, I was talking to a few people at church yesterday that live down there, and they said it's what the county is now is worried about is the actual vehicle bridge that goes across.
Yeah, I know.
The center, beam, I guess. Depends who you talk to, some say was put in the bedrock, some say they only dropped those pylons or whatever they are to the bedrock.
Yep.
So now they're afraid that bridge is gonna go. And one of them said that SO took a ATV across there and, or a county engineer or somebody across the bridge and said you could feel the sway as you're going across.
Really?
Yes, so.
Well, how about the dam itself? Hear anything about that?
No, well, no. I think right now they're worried about the other bridge, because if that other bridge collapses, they're gonna create a new dam with all that concrete and they're gonna lose more property and more of that. They'll lose the, well, if the bridge collapses, but, so I don't know. I don't think the dam is a concern right now. Most of the silt is all downstream already. anyway.
Already, yep.
Yeah.
I heard the Land of Memories and other places down river, it's just full of that crap now that the water's gone down some, but.
What I find ironic, you know, Tom, when we've tried to do a water project, they've come, you know, we've asked for across the ballpark, and when we did it across by the Elbit, you gotta always have that 100-year flood in the back of our minds.
They dropped the ball big time. I think they actually could have been.
In trouble.
Well, if they're worried about the 100-year flood,
But
why did
what,
they
10
cement
years?
the 2 east gates shut?
Mhm.
That could have prevented all this failure if they were still operative or
Clean out some of those damn logs.
clean out the logs.
They never
That was
cleaned out
never
the logs.
done, was supposed to have been done.
I would think that should have been done, but.
There's neglect that has happened there.
Did you hear the interview when they were saying that that company was, the excavator or whatever they use is like 5 hours away?
So what?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying is
So
that,
what?
wouldn't you think that, I mean, Scott, you said that you saw the logs backed up there on Friday.
They were there on the 21st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were,
But they really got bad, like, right, the first night after
But
the
the
rain.
point is like, I mean,
the point of it
It
is,
just kept getting worse and worse.
it's been taken care of for 110 or 14 years.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden with our modern equipment and everything else and prediction of weather, now all of a sudden it fails. And it's a very sad thing, I think.
Yeah.
to lose
Well, the
that.
dam didn't fail. The ground around it is what.
The people and the ground around it failed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know, it's just kind of bad, I think.
It is, it sucks, the whole thing.
As long as all that silt is down, I hope they leave it now. Just leave it sit there.
Yeah.
Why not?
Add on to it, make it bigger.
Yeah. I mean, just let the river go around it, I guess, if they want, you know, stabilize the bank and let it happen.
Yeah,
it was a great effort by Excel to get us power back as soon as they did.
yeah,
When I talked to the deputy that morning, he said we were gonna be out for.
Yeah.
yeah,
He's
yeah, they did a good job. Very good.
got back on at 10:30.
Yeah, 10:30 that night, 9:30, 10.
Well, with that, there any more miscellaneous? If not, somebody make a motion to, oh, one other thing. If there was a building permit issued 2 years ago, it met everything, but it's expired. Does Race have the authority to reissue that, or does that have to come to the council?
He's got the authority to sign any building permit.
That's what I thought. But anything in question, he has to
Yeah,
kind of bring it up.
yes, yeah,
But if it was approved 2 years ago or a year ago or whatever,
nothing's changed.
nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. Be the
Okay.
thing.
No.
All right.
Anything that he feels confident is meets the meets and bounds and all of that, he's the zoning administrator.
That's right. Yep.
We are ready now.
All right. Well, with that, somebody make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Someone second? All in favor? Opposed, motion carried. Thanks, everybody.